Oh, hi there. Good evening. Couldn't sleep. Anyway, I wanted to talk about, the Queen's passing and how I really strongly believe that those hundreds of thousands of people that walked past her coffin and all the ceremonial type of things that were there were in fact walking past a coffin that had no body in it. Um, the reasoning I have for this is because there would be a need to preserve the Queen's body. A lot of people will try to dismiss this and say that, oh, well, she would have been cremated and yada, yada, yada. And you'll get people coming out of the woodwork saying this is what happened, and there is no conspiracy here. But let's remember, this is the royal family, okay? So that's saying, like no conspiracies here. Yeah, right. Um, and the thing is, the queen had a very successful reign as far as longevity and also the accomplishments she was able to do in her lifetime. Um, the thing is, when someone is supposed to uh, be in positions of power to make important decisions and whatnot, it's almost like it never ends. There's always something more that you can do. And there are unfinished projects. If you're someone of that position of society, you want to see the world in a more, in a better situation than it is right now, for sure. Um, it's going to take a few hundred more years to sort out a lot of the problems this world has, and we may never get to that point. Um, I think that might be part of the rationale as to cryogenics. I believe the Queen was frozen, probably immediately. Um, and there is a possibility that she could be brought back to life at some point in the future. This is a bit of a controversial subject for many reasons. Um, the efficacy of it is one thing that can get called into question because it certainly means a lot of dead rats. Because, humans they could be a little bit more tricky to experiment on than vermin, essentially. And those people, they're sadists. Those lab workers who work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all year, every year, trying to advance medical science. And they're so desensitized to what a normal person would consider decent behavior. I know a while back there was an experiment where the Russians sewed a dog's head onto another dog, and there was a modicum of success with that. Um, there was also, I think it was an American study or something like that, of the transplant of a monkey's head onto another monkey's body. Um, and that had, again, a modicum of success. And that, I believe, was in the 80s. So let's think about it. They're just constantly working on it all the time because, I don't know, the glass of immortality has been something sought after for thousands of years. Um, and no one's quite got there yet, but someday that could actually change. Cheat death. And the Queen certainly has the money for the very best cryogenic equipment available in the world. Because most people, it's the story is could be 200,000 American dollars, and you pay like a fee every year or something like that, and they stuff you in a tube with maybe four, maybe even eight other people because it's more cost effective that way. If there's many people in one isolated containment area. Um, Whereas the Queen, it'll be like Snow White in the glass casket. Um, the deluxe version. There are definitely some stumbling blocks along the way. Like one of the most common questions is, well, doesn't blood crystallize and wouldn't it destroy everything in your body once you were thawed? They figured a way around that. Don't ask me how that works, but they did actually figure a way around that. One YouTube channel, and this guy cannot stop making new YouTube channels. His name is Simon Whistler, and he's got one called The Science of Science Fiction. And he's done a video about cryogenics. I'll leave a link in the description below. And basically, he has a comical yet pessimistic view of the whole thing. I actually don't like his approach in some topics that he does in some of his YouTube channels. I really didn't like his, for whatever reasons he decided to pitch it that way or not. I didn't like his opinions on the Chris Benoit tragedy, on the casual criminalness. I'm sure he had a reason, but it escapes me as to what it was. And I don't really agree with that. Anyway, cryogenics, I guess you could kind of joke around a little bit, but again, there is the experimentation on animals, which is kind of an evil thing. But he basically is pitching it like it's a pipe dream. And I really don't think it is. 200 years ago, it would have been unthinkable that we'd have iPhones today. So 200 years from now, there is a very real possibility that they can reanimate bodies and keep them alive for a significant amount of time. And why somebody might pitch it as a pipe dream, as in not attainable, is because this supposed $200,000 payment is actually not that far out of reach for a lot of people in the world. We're not talking about the third world. We're talking about, the first world and wealthy countries. Literally, there are millions and millions of people, if they believe that this would work, could, sell their homes. Maybe they make enough doing whatever it is they do to save up money to invest in this. The Earth has a population problem already. There's already way too many people on this damn planet. And the last thing we need is more people going, well, I want to live forever. And I have the money so that perhaps, this could be obtained in the future. By putting my body on pause and, maybe wake up in the future at some point in time, maybe in a different body. Maybe they can reverse aging at that point in time. Who knows? But I'm saying it is a possibility. If you don't try, you will not be successful. 100% of the baseball swings you don't take, you don't win the home run. So if you don't try, it isn't going to work. And unfortunately, with this whole mindset that not everyone is privileged enough to freeze their body and have it possibly reanimated in the future, the people who do put $200,000 into this project, they're essentially signing up to be test subjects, where they may come up with a new procedure and they would be the people that try it on, and when it doesn't work, whoops. Whereas that will not be happening to Queen Elizabeth. Only when the treatment is 100% effective will they even attempt it on her, because of the amount of power, money, and all that sort of stuff. And this is all not far fetched at all, really. I mean, Lennon, he was, I forget exactly what chemical compounds they put on him, but that was the Soviet Union's very, very, very crude uh, attempt at creating an immortal image of Lenin. Didn't quite work out. Um, and now, with today's technology, they've done a far better job at keeping the Queen on ice. And, this probably won't make it into the general public's uh, sense of this is definitely what's happening, a true believer sort of thing, for a long time, probably 100 years. But society and the people who control the media and things like that, they'll slowly bring in this concept, and it'll sound less alien the more and more and more they do it. And they don't have to move particularly quick because the science is still under development. But think about it. How powerful would a country be, or a scientist or whatever, who created a effective method of reanimating a body? Um, Unseen wealth. Um, Really, it would be the greatest invention since sliced bread. And yeah, when the potential is there for something like that, people who say, no, it'll never work, blah, 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 blah. Out of the way, I'm going in first. That's basically it. You can't be easily fooled by someone saying, no, it's rubbish, it's a pipe dream, and I don't. You go, hey, wait a minute, I'll make the decision if something's rubbish or not. I'm not saying they can do it right now, but I'm saying 200 years from now, maybe. There is a real possibility. And I mean, you take things like Austin Powers, for example, very, very. Well, I didn't mind him until he started running out of jokes and started having used the same old jokes. But Fat Bastard was amusing. And, yeah, Mini Me was alright. Um, and then Mr. Bigglesworth. And Dr. Evil was cool too. And, it was alright. Um, so um, I think that there is a real possibility that the Queen may yet walk this earth again. Um, yeah, and I use her for an example because she was easily worth more money and more power than the Vatican. So yeah, I do think that yeah, they froze her, and she's somewhere under 24-hour surveillance, and that's the way it's always going to be. Um, yeah. So I got interested in this subject actually by another YouTuber called Brew, Brew, and I'll leave a link to his video in the description. Now these are both intellectuals. I won't go so far as to say scientists, but I don't think Simon Whistler is a scientist, and I don't think Brew is a scientist either. I think that they're well informed people, and they're educated, but I don't believe either of them are actually scientists. So, you know, Some people think it's funny, goofy graphics and things like that, but it's actually really solid stuff. So I recommend you check these out and formulate your own opinion. Um, and if someone says, no, your opinion's stupid, they can say that, and you can choose to believe them, or you can choose to go, maybe your opinion's stupid. Maybe I don't have to listen to you. Um, so anyway, gonna leave it at that, and I'll let you guys do whatever it is you're gonna be doing. So, see you next time.